Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this week was the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. finale, and I'd say about half the questions we had were answered, about half were teased for Season 2, like they're going to continue those plots into Season 2, and then in like the last 15 minutes, a whole bunch of new questions came up. So this is what I'm going to do. Because we got a confirmed Season 2, I'm going to start with my top 5 moments, then do my review, and then do theory crafting for Season 2. If you're finding me for the first time, every week I do Marvel videos, but because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going on hiatus now, every Tuesday is just going to be Marvel movie and Star Wars video days. So be sure to subscribe to get everything, and feel free to leave me suggestions for bonus videos to do. So, careful for spoilers from the episode if you haven't seen it yet, but here are my top 5 moments. Number 5, Fitz sacrifices himself for Simmons. I feel like the sacrifice means so much more whenever it's not a superhero. Like when Thor jumps into a hurricane, you're 99% sure he's gonna escape without a scratch on him. But drowning at the bottom of the ocean and confessing your love for someone is just so much more meaningful. They kept talking about the life on the bottom of the ocean, and I half expected some Atlanteans to swim up and save them, but I think that was just an Easter egg. Coulson did take more chances with his life, but since he's already been proven unkillable, Fitz made the biggest sacrifice in the episode. And as a result, he's paying the biggest price. It sounds like, based on what they said in the episode, that whenever his character does come back, he'll be fundamentally changed. Like, he will not be the Fitz of Season 1. It'll be like someone totally different. Number 4, Nick Fury saves the day. He got an introduction in the episode befitting his level of badassery. If you're confused about the timeline between the end of Winter Soldier and now, it's basically moving in real time, so it's only been a couple of months. So as of this episode, Fury has left S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's just hunting for Hydra agents on his own. When he entered the episode, it kind of felt like he was walking onto a holodeck, like he knew nothing was gonna hurt him, which seems totally appropriate for the character. My favorite Nick Fury line in the episode was that one-man part. One man can be part of something greater, part of something greater. When he left at the end and said, "I'm everywhere," it was just the writers leaving room for him to cameo on the show again next season. Marvel does this really awesome thing where they never throw characters away, which actually kind of ties into my next moment. Number 3, Coulson takes down Garrett. More like liquefies him with the Tesseract gun. This was just like the end of that moment at the Avengers when the Hulk thrashed Loki around. Garrett has this moment of evil triumph, like he thinks he's escaped, and bam, you get this Joss Whedon head jerk to Coulson. I just love how nonchalant he is about the whole moment. It just completely subverts our expectations, and that's why it's so good. It was moments like that early on in the Marvel movie universe that made Coulson such a fan favorite, just him casually reacting to extreme situations. Oh, Asgardian robot killing everything in the desert. Isn't that interesting? The only bad part is that moments like that really spoil you, and since we only get to see him every once in a while, I'm a little bummed now that it's gonna be almost all year before we get to see it again, like Guardians of the Galaxy. But to be fair, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will premiere before that, so maybe we'll get like a Season 2 Episode 1, Coulson funny moment. Also, quick side note too, now we know that the Tesseract gun is more powerful than the Destroyer gun. Number 2, Skye is an important part of the evolution. We didn't get an official answer one way or the other about what she was, but Raina and Garrett mentioned the words evolution and becoming something greater in almost every scene they were in. So I'm gonna go ahead and save some of the theories for my Season 2 part of the video, but I love the way the show is doing this crazy cosmic comic book rhetoric in ways that allow them to not have to show it to us right away. I kinda did expect Garrett to morph into something crazy whenever Deathlock smashed him though. Earlier, whenever he said this is the beginning of the end, he was talking about throwing things into the next stage of evolution. That really did make me think Terrigen Mist in Inhumans, because something similar happened during Marvel Infinity during that comic book last year, and Marvel has really made it clear that they're trying to develop an Inhumans movie. And all that business with Skye's father at the end of the episode just makes me feel like there are multiple types of aliens on the show. It's not just one or the other, it's like, a whole bunch of stuff. The problem in trying to figure out who is what depends all on whether or not Inhumans would be able to take a transfusion from a Kree, a la Tahiti Blue Alien, who I definitely think is a Kree. Regardless of all that, I definitely think that Raina is an Inhuman. The term monster just fits so well, since sometimes Inhumans turn into physically monstrous looking things whenever they inhale the mists. So in a way, S.H.I.E.L.D. is setting up all these big galactic things on television. The show and the movies don't cross over all the time, and when they do, it's really subtle, but the events on the show will influence what happens in the movies and vice versa. Naturally, you just expect it more from the movies flowing down rather than the show flowing up. And my number 1 moment, Coulson is tasked with rebuilding S.H.I.E.L.D. I suspected this might end up being the case, but I never predicted that Coulson would become director of S.H.I.E.L.D. That black box is probably going to be the MacGuffin for Season 2, the thing that gives them their missions. We can talk about that in a second, but we found out they have another new secret base with another Patton Oswalt. I got so happy. I'm gonna go ahead and say life model decoy. Wouldn't it be funny though if there was a Patton Oswalt life model decoy at every single one of Nick Fury's secret bases? Like 50 or 60 of them? It'd just be a whole army of Patton Oswalts playing video games in the dark by themselves, or maybe in like a massive Call of Duty LAN party. I have to say though, my favorite quote from the episode was Garrett saying, "I am the key to the future of the universe." It was just so Machiavellian and so perfect. But now it's your turn. Let me know what your favorite moment was from the episode, or moments. It's really hard to pick. I felt a lot of Whedonverse mojo in this episode, and that's why it was so amazing. Overall, the episode was a solid A, definitely a high point for the season. Bill Paxton has been a breath of fresh air for the show, and I'm only sorry that he didn't get to come on sooner. But I think that was mostly because that whenever they started, the show only had a 6-episode commitment, so they didn't even know if they were going to get renewed. They even shot the first 3 episodes before episode 1 ever aired, so they didn't even get feedback from the fandom until they were midway through the first half of the season. But now that the heavy lifting task of developing all the core characters is over, I think that they can really start to have a lot more fun and get really meta. I really love what they did with Ward's character specifically. Brett Dalton is still kind of growing on me, and his fight with May is probably the perfect metaphor for how most people reacted to him, at least until we learned he was Hydra. It was like he was trolling us the whole time with that vanilla quarterback routine. And Coulson was already an amazing character whenever the show started, but now that we've got to live with him for so much longer, he's become so much more complex. Before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was essentially the setup man for Tony Stark jokes, which isn't a bad job, but Nick Fury named him as a core Avenger in the episode, so Marvel and Disney just made Coulson every bit as important as Captain America and Iron Man and the rest of the A-list Avengers. I don't think that means we're going to get a Coulson movie anytime soon, but I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally happy with him just being on TV. A lot of the credit this season, though, goes to Jed Whedon and Marissa Tancheron. They really did most of the work this season. A lot of people don't realize that even though Joss Whedon was involved in getting the show off the ground, they were the ones that ran the show while he was away doing Avengers 2. So if you really like the show, or it grew on you a lot, they're the ones to thank. Also, whenever they announced S.H.I.E.L.D. was getting a season 2, they both did this really funny dance on Instagram to celebrate, so high fives to them. They did an awesome job. So, on to theory crafting. So everybody start scanning dialogue for Easter eggs and freeze frames for like little things in the background. But let's start off with the season 2 plot. That little black box that Fury gave to Coulson will be where most of their ideas for missions come from. They used it to find that new base that they went to, so they're just going to keep finding interesting things in that database to investigate. Just because Patton Oswalt was there whenever they arrived doesn't mean he's going to be in every episode, but he's definitely going to cameo again. They're probably going to spend most of their time on that plane traveling to different places. As for the rest of the team, I'm expecting Triplet to replace Ward as the Muscle Man for at least a little bit. But Brett Dalton isn't off the show, he's still going to be a main cast member. Coulson said that they were going to use him to get Hydra intel, so either they're going to permanently house him inside that special room on the plane, or they're going to keep him locked up at the base. But my money is on them keeping him close by, just so Ming-Na can slap him around once a week. Fitz is the real big question mark. It sounds like, based on what they were saying, that he has lost brain function. It's possible that part of his arc next season will be learning how to be a team member when he's not super smart anymore, like learning how to contribute and be special in a whole new way. He's not off the show either, so he's definitely still on that team. Garrett is definitely a puddle of goo, but I just love how funny it is that they spent all the time and energy and money turning him into this cyborg just so that Coulson could kill him in that really awesome way. The honor of being the season 2 villain will probably fall to Skye's mystery father, the Inhuman. He's definitely not a Kree. Moving on to Skye's heritage, like I said, Reyna, who I suspect is an Inhuman that just hasn't taken in the mists, has a pre-existing relationship with that mystery dad. Ergo, my best theory right now is that she's an Inhuman, but she's not a princess or anything. Black Bolt is still the king of the Inhumans, and that guy did not look like Black Bolt. He seemed pretty evil. And in case you couldn't see, he was covered in blood. I totally expect this Skye Inhumans thing to be like the Coulson Tahiti mystery during season 1, so it's probably going to take almost all of season 2 for them to explain what's going on. But now it's your turn. Let me know what are your biggest theories for season 2, and do you agree that Skye is an Inhuman based on the evidence, based on what we've seen? Next week, like I said, because S.H.I.E.L.D. is on hiatus, I'm going to be doing a bonus Marvel movie video and a bonus Star Wars video. So be sure to subscribe to get everything and leave me suggestions for what you want to talk about. Also, big news, tomorrow is the Arrow finale and the very first Flash trailer. So if you check the description, I posted a link to my master video schedule so you can find out whenever I'm posting new videos. There's been a lot of awesome stuff happening this week, but it's all in that list. So right now, click here to learn all about the Agent Carter TV show, as well as all the Netflix shows. I just did a breakdown. And click here to learn all about Ben Affleck's new Batsuit and the new Batmobile. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. High fives.